AMC's The Walking Dead has finally confirmed how many years have passed since the zombie apocalypse first began in TWD's timeline. Apparently, the world fell apart around 13 years ago. The reveal came in the long-awaited origin story episode for one of its most popular characters, Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, in The Walking Dead Season 10. It's not often at all that the AMC series takes a trip to the past, but flashbacks were a major focal point of The Walking Dead Season 10's Negan origin episode, Here's Negan. In fact, the show even featured a look at the world before the zombie virus outbreak happened. This was done to give viewers their first full taste of who the leader of the Saviors used to be before The Walking Dead's apocalyptic timeline. As it turned out, he was an ex-gym teacher struggling to find work while also engaging in an affair with one of his wife's friends. One of his biggest problems was that he had a potentially violent temper, which he had to keep a leash on. But when the zombie apocalypse kicked off and his wife died from cancer, Negan stripped away his inhibitions and became a villain. The flashbacks gave a clear frame of reference for when these tragic events occurred in Negan's The Walking Dead timeline, and they also helped to shed some light on how many years have passed in The Walking Dead's timeline. It's interesting that it took until the last episode before the show's 11th and final season for it to nail down a specific time frame for how many years have passed in TWD. Up until now, it was a bit more open to interpretation. The biggest clues were found by looking at the aging of characters like Carl and adding up all the specified time skips that have transpired thus far. These things had to finally be examined because how many years have passed is never something that's been discussed by The Walking Dead's characters, likely due to the fact that days and months have little importance in a post-apocalyptic world. How many years have passed in The Walking Dead timeline? The sequence about Negan being beaten up by a criminal was set 12 years before TWD's late Season 10 and early Season 11 timelines. At this point, zombies were already everywhere. Then, the show went back 6 weeks further to him trying to help Lucille, Hilary Burton Morgan, with her cancer treatments, while also trying to keep their home safe from the walkers outside. Later, a flashback to a moment in Lucille's life from 7 months prior to the treatments showed the two living together ahead of The Walking Dead's apocalypse. This confirms that the characters in the show have been fighting for their lives against the zombies between 12 and 13 years as of TWD Season 11. When looking back at other time skips and rather accurate records that fans have compassed for The Walking Dead timeline, this figure isn't all that surprising. The first several seasons played out across a somewhat brief period of time, and it wasn't until much later that the series started delivering large time jumps, the biggest of which being the one that happened early in The Walking Dead Season 9, which leaped forward by 6 years. All things considered, it's good that Walking Dead fans don't have to rely on unofficial timelines anymore. How many years between TWD and Fear the Walking Dead? While The Walking Dead's official timeline now spans almost 13 years, Fear the Walking Dead puts it back just slightly further. Fear the Walking Dead's origins in Season 1 show the earliest days in The Walking Dead's timeline, with its pilot episode taking place just a few weeks before TWD's timeline with Rick really begins. Since the official timelines go back earliest in 2010, the amount of time that has passed when including both The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead is still about 13 years. Where Walking Dead? World Beyond fits in TWD's timeline. The Walking Dead World Beyond is the latest spin-off series to come from the Walking Dead franchise, and the limited series focuses on the first generation to grow up during the zombie apocalypse. Several TWD characters appear or are referenced in the show, such as Jadis, Pollyanna McIntosh. Unlike Fear the Walking Dead, the events of World Beyond happen concurrently with TWD, happening alongside Seasons 10 and 11. Since World Beyond is happening at the same time as The Walking Dead, the two shows are connected by the Civil Republic Military, which is the helicopter organization that flew away with Rick Grimes.